in new positions can seem like a massive re-education. You're going to have to learn new scales to play along to genres of music that you're not really interested in, right? No, that's wrong. And while it's important to focus most of your attention where you'll get most of the benefit, which is probably second position for many, there is a lot of insight to gain from an accessible taste of playing in other positions. And today we're going to see just how accessible and familiar that insight and experience can be using the explorative power of Harp Guru. Harp Guru is available in the Android and iOS stores now and was recently described in a 5-star review as an abacus for scales. It dramatically speeds up your learning and makes it much more enjoyable. And that's exactly what we're going to be demonstrating right now. So how's this going to work? What we'll do is we'll take a scale that many of us are already familiar with, the blues scale. If you aren't familiar, then take a look in the description for a link to my visual introduction in another video. And assuming you're proficient enough with bends and blow bends to play the blues scale in second position, we're going to see how many other positions we can play our familiar blues scale in. I'm sure you'll be surprised at the result and excited to try some of them out. I will assume that we can't play any overblows or overdraws, because what we want to prove today is that intermediate and even beginner players can stay in their comfort zone but still get a worthwhile insight into positional playing. So let's get started. Here is the blues scale in second position. Now we can't play all the notes. We've got the important flat 3 and these flat 5s on holes 6, 7 and 10 as overblow and overdraw notes. But we've got these notes available elsewhere on holes 3, 4 and 10, and we've even got a complete scale available down here, so we're happy. So how about third position? Well, the situation here is even better, isn't it? Only this flat 5 on hole 9 is an overdraw, and the rest is just beautiful. You might even be surprised to see the blues scale in third position like this. It definitely doesn't get as much coverage as it does in second position. Well, if that surprises you, then just wait for what happens next. Here's fourth position. Not bad, right? These 1 and 4 hole flat 5s are on overblows, but this one on hole 8 is just a blow bend. So, again, we have a complete scale in 1 octave, which is no worse than in second position. And even in the lower octave, without the flat 5, what we have is a minor pentatonic scale, don't we? So this is definitely playable. Now how about fifth position? Excellent again. Only this hole 6 flat 5 is unplayable to us without the ability to overblow. We have a complete scale down here, and we're only missing the flat 7 up top. Sixth position? Look at that, only one missing fifth here on hole 5. But look at the layout of these notes. So many draws. That would make Will Wilde happy. There's lots of power and passion in these. And look at this chord we have here. This is a diminished chord, and we have it in 2 octaves. And if we're really clever, we might even be able to play a diminished 7 chord. I'll leave that to the likes of Alec Packlin to experiment with. Moving on to the 7th. Now this is our first position where the root note isn't an unbent note. We're leaving the realms which people associate with the modes of the major scale now. All of the positions up till now are often advertised quite rightly as being associated with certain modes because those modes are played without any bent notes. And what we talk about less is that if you are willing to bend, then you've got much more freedom to pick up the scale that you want to play in any position. Not total freedom for most of us, but we've got this far with the same scale in all of these positions, haven't we? And sure enough, look, 7th position has an eminently playable blues scale right here. We can't play the root above it on hole 5, or the 2/5 above that on holes 7 and 10, but that's just comparable to the limitations we have in second position, isn't it? Now on to 8th position. Well, yeah, we're having to put in some work now, aren't we? But we still do have a complete scale here, and more than enough to play with higher up, although when you don't have access to the root and the 5th, as we're missing on holes 7, 9 and 10, you're going to notice, even though the real colour tones of the flat 3, 5 and 7 are here. 9th position next. You can see that one by one these notes are leaving the unbent holes and finding their way to the bent ones, which makes it more difficult to play this scale accurately. We're definitely in challenging territory here, but there's no reason we couldn't put together a few riffs down in the lower octave. 10th position, woof, only the flat 5 remains as an unbent note. But that's the most important note, right? I mean, you could argue that, but not having a root note accessible until you get up to the 8 blow bend is definitely a drag. 11th position, okay, by now we're not expecting too much, but If you're really tight with those bends, you have an octave and a half where you are only missing a 4, actually. I'm reaching now, I know. And then on to 12th position. Perhaps surprising to some, 12th not holding up as well as it often can, but actually we're only missing the flat 7 in the lower octave and the 4 in the middle octave. And then back to 1st position. Now, some might associate 1st position with missing the flat 3 on the 1 and 4 whole overblows, but actually we do have a complete blues scale for us in the upper register where only the blow bends are required. So of the 12 positions, we have a complete blues scale playable with only bends and blow bends in at least one octave in all of 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 8th positions. That's 1 through 8 of 12. I think that will come as a surprise to many people. So it's clear that lots of these positions are perfectly playable if you can already play the blues scale in 2nd position. In fact, many of them have fewer missing notes on the overblows and overdraws. More notes doesn't mean better, of course, and there are still things in 2nd position that you won't be able to do in other positions. In 2nd position, you can play the flat 5, flat 7 double stop with a scoop up to the 5 flat 7 double stop, which is a candidate for the most blues harmonica sound possible. You can't do that in 3rd position, for example, because the flat 7 is on a blow and the 5s are on draws, you see? But you will discover things in other positions that you can't do in 2nd position. And some of those sounds might be themselves new candidates for the most blues harmonica sound possible. Like scooping all the way up from the 4 to the 5 on hole 3 in 5th position, or the diminished chords we saw in 6th position. And once you realise that, you have just realised one of the main reasons that positional playing exists and one of the gorgeous things about the harmonica. And that's where the value lies, in this understanding and appreciation. So what do you think? How many positions can you play the blues scale in? Why not give it a go? And if you're thinking, well, I've got a melody maker tuned harp, can I play blues scale in 6th position on that? Well, sure you can. And you can experiment with all the scales on all the tunings in all the positions with Harp Guru. If there is a scale or tuning we've not got, then that can be fixed. Just get in touch. Harp Guru is available now in the iOS and Android stores, waiting to help you demystify all of your harmonicas. Better get to it.